The morning is starting off with Tesla on sale, but it's not alone. We've got Apple on sale and Google on sale. Meta's on sale. Microsoft's on sale. A lot of stuff's on sale this morning. And it's everything in the setup this morning is off. I'll tell you why at the end. I mean, we'll talk about some stuff in general as we get closer to the end, but in about 10 minutes, when we talk about the overall market situation, I'll go through why I don't like the setup this week. It might turn around as news develops, but right now, the opening today is ugly. Having said that, Tesla has always been a headline grabber, but there seems to be another level of that headline appeal starting to emerge. Not enough, obviously, to kick Tesla's stock into gear this morning. In fact, there have been so many headlines about the Cybertruck, about Optimus, and what are arguably more popular efforts by Elon to sue OpenAI and successfully crush DEI, that there hasn't been much room for the negative headlines in the last week. Yeah, there's still some negative headlines, but for the most part, better headlines as things are popping with the Tesla brand. On top of that, there's been a bunch of good articles on humanoids in general, and I think this is good for Tesla. Sure, it says that Tesla will have some good competition. That's part of what these headlines about other bots are saying, but it's also that the category is real and important, and that should start to open some eyes among the more aggressive types in the investment community. It might also bring in an entirely new group of investors, those folks who are into robots or they're into the industrial side of things. They like to buy the B2B companies. Those who are interested in science. Anyway, there's a bunch of folks other than the car, the car cadre has been the ones that have been all about Tesla up until now, but this might start to bring in some of those other players. We're also getting excellent stories on full self-driving. There's been a few major flubs here and there. One of them is creating a bit of a headline this morning where this one Tesla Cybertruck just kind of completely discombobulated, if you will. But on FSD, for the most part, those have been good. All right. I don't know where the week is going to go. I'm not saying that it's going to be, there won't be back to lots of Elon bad in the press, but we so far have had a good week in terms of the headlines. So this is Randy Kirk. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. As usual, subscribe and notify, because Brian White, middle of the day, Larry Goldberg, Good News Monday. Maybe we'll have good news by the end of the day, and they'll be here at their regular times. Join Patreon for sure, and hit up some of those Cybertruck bottle openers. All right. The big question that will start to become more dominant as this month progresses is, what will the numbers turn out to be for Tesla? I think Tesla's down this morning because the market is down. Lots of the Magnificent Seven are down this morning. But I also think part of it has to do with the weakness on the China numbers and stories about the weakness on Model 3 out of Fremont, things I've been talking about all weekend. The China numbers, long term, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I've mentioned this last night in the program. I believe that China can stay at max capacity. I mean, they're at max capacity. Yeah, they can add maybe 10% this year, but they're at max capacity, and they have plenty of export opportunities if the China market is soft. Right now, what we're looking at is probably about same year over year in January. This week, it's a little bit off, and that might be affecting the stock this morning, but this week is impacted by where the Chinese New Year fell. So you really have to wait until the numbers that come out Tuesday night, or sometime tomorrow, Tuesday, or you really have to wait maybe the whole month before you're going to know how China is going to actually turn out. But right now, it might be hitting the market a little bit. Also, I think people are a little nervous about this Model 3 out of Fremont problem. And overall, we're seeing a couple of headlines here and there talking about Troy Teslike and his numbers, where he's projecting something. If I remember right, I think he's talking about maybe 450,000, which would still be up year over last year's first quarter, but would be down sequentially over quarter four. We're looking to do better than that. We should be able to do better than that, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, so Berlin is talking a good show about production, and some of the European numbers look good, but we don't have enough data on that yet. We're thinking about this Model 3 situation, but we don't have enough of an update there. Austin seems like it's doing okay, but where is the $7,500 deal? We thought that the $7,500 being off sticker was going to really create a tremendous amount of demand here in the first quarter. So far, we don't have any information that would lead us to believe that it's at least a very big deal. And then we have the energy sector. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Gary Black is saying about China wholesale this morning, he's saying they hit 60,365 total for the month of February, and mentions, of course, about the Chinese New Year. And so 60,365 would be down from what you might like to see. And that would be down 19% year over year. But again, Chinese New Year affecting that. Tesla Boomer Mama is back at it again. You know, every once in a while, Tesla Boomer Mama gets going, and she does something on a major level. She did that with the S&P a couple of years ago and got it done. Right now, what she's doing is she's leading a charge to go out there and get folks to send tens of thousands of letters in the next week or two to Judge McCormick. She's the judge that made that horrible decision in the Elon Musk compensation package case. Horrible decision, crazy horrible. And lots of people now are following in Tesla Boomer Mama's request and sending letters to this judge talking about why it's not good for the stockholders, why it's not good for Elon, why it's not good for the country, why it's not good for the economy, why it's not good for sustainability. I mean, you've got the list. Maybe you should send a letter. Go check out Tesla Boomer Mama and find out. That's at Tesla Boomer Mama on X. She's got all the information there about how to send a letter to Judge McCormick. I don't know if it'll do any good or not, but it can't hurt. It's not likely that she's going to say, oh, I got 1,000 or 2,000 or even 300 letters, and therefore I'm going to be more of a stick in the mud on this. Maybe it'll have an impact. All right. According to S&P Global Mobility's Automotive Loyalty Awards, Tesla claimed higher owner loyalty than any other car brand, repeating its win from last year. Tesla also had the most conquest buyers, and people switched brand. That's a conquest buyer, somebody who switches from their brand over to a Tesla. It as a brand, as an overall brand. So you got Tesla as a car brand that came in number one, but as a company brand, it came in number two after General Motors. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure how that exactly works. There are a growing number of headlines and notes regarding Tesla Energy. Last year, we've talked a lot about, and I'd made predictions over and over again that when we get the Q2 earnings, not the ones coming up in April, but the ones that we'll hear in July, that at that point, the energy situation will become obvious to all the players. Everybody on Wall Street will get it by July earnings report about what energy is going to do, how big it is, what a big deal it is. Right now, you're starting to see pundit or analyst after analyst come out and talk more about energy. We did a big story on that yesterday. Larry did a big story on that yesterday around the noon hour. You can go back and take a look at that. It's going to be a massive category, possibly almost certainly a larger profit producer than the cars. When that becomes obvious, it should have an impact on Wall Street and, of course, then on the stock. This from Forbes. SpaceX and NASA on Sunday successfully launched a crew of Russian and American astronauts towards the International Space Station. They will begin a months-long mission in Earth orbit, the latest joint venture between Elon Musk's rocket venture and the U.S. government agency. SpaceX could be doing another attempt this week. Hopefully, they're going to do another wet rehearsal, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, for the Starship. And then right after that, a day or two after that, we'll get the launch of Starship. Hopefully on its third try, it's going to make it into space. And I'm sure you're probably aware, because you're probably following this very closely, but if Starship gets fully launched and everything goes well, then this will usher in, this will be a breakthrough day. This will be a time where the world will be going into a completely new era in space by lowering the cost and increasing the potential payload per launch by an order of magnitude. And it's not just what will happen immediately in terms of the ability to launch these rockets, very inexpensively and get massive payloads into space. It's just going to increase. It's going to continuously get better and better in terms of how much we can get into space and also what the lower costs will be. Eventually, we're talking about point-to-point transportation, LA to Hong Kong in 45 minutes, New York to Singapore in 45 minutes, any place on Earth, spot to spot in 45 minutes, taking initially, it'll probably just be packages, but also the U.S. Army, the U.S. military, very interested, already having made an investment in that future program. Jay Leno's Garage will be premiering a video later today that apparently is going to be very complimentary about the Model 3. Jay is joined once again by Tesla's head engineer and designer, Lars Margavy and Franz von Holzenhausen. That will be an amazing video to watch later today. I'm not sure exactly what time it's coming out, but you can even go now to Jay Leno's Garage and set your time so that you'll be notified when that takes place. In the humanoid news department, we have digital bots doing, we have Digit, the company Digit, or the product Digit. Their bots are doing actual work at Amazon. I'm sure you're aware of that, but I just wanted to say it again. These bots, these humanoid bots, they're a little weird looking with their backward knees and stuff, but they're doing actual work sorting at Amazon right now. We also have one of the other brands doing their sorting right now in the lab, but they're doing it at human speeds. This is fast developing. This is not going to be something that's going to develop slowly over the next several years. This is developing right now. Every single week, we've got new stuff. We need Tesla. I'm pleading with Tesla. Please begin to show Optimus, which is by far the smoothest, the most human acting of the bots out there, but we need to see Optimus doing real work in the factory. Come on, we need to get Optimus in the factory. We need to see dozens or hundreds of Optimus bots working in real positions and also doing the jobs at human-like speeds or near human-like speeds. It isn't going to matter in the long run in terms of what Optimus is able to do and how many millions will be sold. What it matters right now is in terms of the Tesla brand. We need the Tesla brand to continue to be seen everywhere as being the most innovative, the most amazing company on every single level, and all of the Elon Musk companies being seen that way. This is one thing that has kept Tesla at the forefront in the cars, in energy, everywhere else, needs to keep that brand ID. And we don't want these other companies to be seen as being ahead in the humanoid robot space. All right, this morning, the Saudis and Russia and some of the OPEC members have combined to say that they're going to extend their voluntary cutbacks on production. As a result of where things are right now in the market, this has been a very slow developing thing. Gasoline has been moving up since January. It had a bottom of $3.06, now sitting at about $3.34. So you're looking at almost a 10% increase over that time. Oil is up from $73, where it was in January, to $80 now, over $80 now. That is also a 10% increase over that short time period. Now, remember, it was higher than this last year, but it's higher now than it was 2 months ago. So this is going to impact inflation numbers. The biggest threat towards renewing the upward trends in inflation would be comparative numbers in commodities. Commodities are at historic lows. Oil was at very, very low points. And now we've got oil creeping up. Commodities are still down, but if we start to see commodities inching up, that is going to put inflationary pressures on the goods market across the board. Oil not only impacts the goods market, it impacts services too, because vehicles are used in services and electricity is used in service businesses. So everything is impacted when oil prices go up. So this is one of the things that's bothering me and probably the market a little bit this morning. And then on the good news front, it looks like the 6-week hello, let me say it again. It looks like the hoped for 6-week ceasefire in Gaza is a real, did I say Gaza? Boy, I felt just fine until a minute ago. Anyway, in Gaza is a real possibility. This would be bullish, but apparently the market isn't interested in that this morning. It's not going to change anything in terms of Israel's ultimate decision. What they're going to want to do is wipe out Hamas, wipe out their ability to fight, wipe out them as a fighting force, get rid of all of their instruments of war. All that's still going to take place, but it looks like we might have this 6-week ceasefire in between now and in the next week or so. The hope is it starts before Ramadan. At least that's what the U.S. government is hoping for. I don't know if everybody's hoping for that. Okay, let's take a look now at where we are in the markets. It isn't good. So let me just warn you, it's not a pretty picture. We have got Tesla right now down $8.79 at $193.84. It is starting to form a bottom at that level. I didn't expect it to be below 200. You probably didn't expect it to go below 200. And I kind of doubt that it'll end the day below 200. But we do have this general negative on the megas this morning. So you've got Apple down 471. You got Google down 414. You've got Meta down 309. Now, Amazon's up a little bit. Microsoft's up a little bit. Nvidia's up strongly. What is the thing that you think when you hear what I just said? There's money that's moving into Nvidia. It's moving out of some of the other Mag 7 stocks that they're being characterized over the weekend. You know, Tesla, Apple, and Google. Should they even any of those three be in the Mag 7 anymore? It's not just Tesla that's getting this kind of pressure from the pundits saying, well, these stocks, they're not growing at the same rate. They're not hitting on all cylinders in the new AI space. Well, you and I know better than that about Tesla, but the market still doesn't get it about Tesla in the AI space. But they will. That'll happen eventually. But right now, at least, these three are under pressure. The other, and Meta as well. But that's where we are. We got the Cathie Woods also this morning down. We do have 30 years. As you'll see in a second, those are the yields are up this morning. That's also going to be impacting. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Well, let me look at these in percentages. We've got the Dow down 76. We've got the NASDAQ down 35 and S&P down 4. I'm sorry, these are the indice prices down 76, NASDAQ down 35, S&P down 465. In percentages, that would be the Dow down 0.19, NASDAQ down 0.22, S&P down 0.07, Tesla down 4.59% this morning. That is compared to Apple down 2.59 and Google down 2.74. Okay, let's now go and take a look at what this means, in terms of the rest of the market things that we follow here on this channel. Okay, here we go. Finally, it's working. We got the bonds up, 10-year up 2.7 basis points. It was up 4, so that is an improvement. Almost up 3 now. Basis points, that is more or less across the board. In fact, the 2 years up even more, 4.4 basis points. 2 month is unchanged, 3 month is unchanged. So that is actually a little bit of a shrinking of the inversion on the really short termers, but the 2 year is a slight widening of the inversion. Okay, we're sitting right now about the same 4.209, not yet back up to the 4.25, which is I'm hoping we never see again ever in my lifetime. Well, okay, maybe in my lifetime. Let's take a look at the rest. We've got oil. Up only a little bit, but it's over 80. It's sitting at $80.14, up 17 cents this morning. Brent at 83.87. So continuing to only be about $3.50 higher. It was, of course, $6 higher, has come down almost back to the normal $3 spread. Natural gas up 5.67% this morning at $1.94. That's strong. That's surprisingly strong this morning. We have got the dollar easing, according to the headline. We have got gold up $12. It is now at 2,108. So this is one of the things that I'm talking about that I don't like. I don't like that gold is up above 2,100 again. We've got copper up 0.16%. Not a big move. It's sitting at 386. But again, it's kind of moving towards that $4 level. But here's another one. Crypto. Bitcoin is up 3,200. Anyway, it's up 3,300. 66,182. Yeah, okay. I'm happy for all the folks that are invested in Bitcoin, but the money is moving into Nvidia. The money is moving into crypto. We've got a bunch of players that are moving their money into. This is where the action is right now, and it's all about those two things. Not good. That overall picture is what's kind of making me a little nervous this morning. All about gold, all about Bitcoin, all about Nvidia, not spreading out, not showing strength in the general market. That's just not good. All right, so the Supreme Court has put Trump back on the Colorado Republican primary ballot. That would tend to suggest, I haven't seen the entire article, it's just breaking right this second. And so I would suggest that probably is a broad decision, which will mean it will be true for all the other cases as well. But we'll see as we learn more about that. Okay, going back to Tesla, just looking one more time here. I'm afraid to look. It is now down 5% or down $10.20 at 192 and 44 cents. Apple now down $5. Yeah, it's bloody this morning. Blood in the street with regard to the magnificent, or half at least of the Magnificent Seven. All right, that's all I've got for you this morning. Be sure to check in later and see Larry Goldberg later tonight on Good News Monday. We've got Brian White at the midday as usual on Monday, and then yesterday, a tremendous amount of cool stuff yesterday. Mostly you want to go back and look at Larry Goldberg, where we did talk about the energy sector. It is really something, a very, very good report that he put together, and that card will be right here. All right, for now, that's all I got, and it's been great talking to you.